Welcome all, these are my top tips to help you develop youth players into world beaters on FC26. So to begin with, the very first thing you should be doing is hiring scouts with high judgment. As you can see, there are a couple here that we can hire, but look at the network cost, 3.8 million and 4.7 million. So it comes at a cost if you want the best youth players to join your academy. We're going to go ahead and hire Ethan Dunn. And as you can see at the top there, a scout with more experienced stars will find more players, whereas a scout with high judgment stars will find higher quality players. That's so important. Keep it in mind, and that's the first tip you should be doing. Just so we can compare, I'm going to also hire a 3-star, just so you can see. I'm thinking of doing this live, We have no youth players currently in our academy, so I'm going to simulate and get our first scouting report. And just like magic, we have a couple scouting reports. Let's look at Ethan Dunn, 5-star. And with Ethan Dunn, he found 6 players. And as you can see, there are 3 players who could potentially hit the heights of 90. Solely because of their age, that's why their overall is so low. And then with Miho, our 3-star scout, he only found 3 players and only one of them have the potential to maybe hit 90. So we're going to add him to our academy too. So we're going to use these guys as live examples throughout this video. We're currently playing as Arsenal, but you can see in the attacking positions we have an advanced forward, an inside forward, and it can be anything you like, to be honest. But what I like to do is very early on match up the training plan with those starting roles that we saw in our starting lineup. Because at the end of the day, when these players get of age, they're going to step right into the boots of the players that you currently have in your starting lineup. I will say this is an important step at this stage, because let's say you were to promote any of these youth players right now and then loan them out. Once you loan them out, you are no longer in control of what their training plan is. So doing it right now, when it's early, when they're young, when they're part of your side, is the best time, because when you loan them out, they will continue growing in line with your tactics. My next tip is play the youth matches. Guys, play those rush games. What do you have to lose? I've been playing the rush games in FC24 and FC25. Takes about 15 minutes if you win it, and I think I read somewhere as well that you don't even have to win it, you just have to participate. So if it's just participating, that could literally take you 3 minutes to just get in and get out. But what I've noticed in the past couple of years is that youngsters hold their potential a lot better when you play these matches. It probably needs a bit more research, but I see a more consistent output in their training performance, as well as once they get promoted to the senior team. They just perform better all round. Not only that, you also get a feel for the player, you understand how they play, their strengths, their weaknesses. If you want a much more enjoyable experience, maybe put the youth player quality on full potential. But I like to leave it on current overall, because I want to see where they are coming from and feel the difference when they develop into stars. And I also think it adds to the fun, not knowing where exactly a player is going to end up. Anyways, that's your preference. Before we continue, let's look at some more scouting updates we have. So the 5-star, second youth update. Look at this, guys. Wow. And as you can see, with a 5-star scout, we have 6 players once again. 4 of them have a ceiling of 94 rating, and we're going to add them to our academy. And let's finally check the 3-star scout. He also finds 6 players, and as you can see, the overall quality and potential is nowhere near the 5-star. We have 1 player here in Jaguar, and we're going to add him to the academy, as well as Lorenz, because he has 3 to 6 play styles. So we're going to leave the players that we just added to our academy on a balanced plan, so that we can also see how their overall develops throughout the season. But they look decent. For my next tip, if you promote a player to your senior team, make sure you play them as much as possible. Now, you don't have to start them. You can bring them on every other game for the final 10 to 20 minutes. Maybe play them in some cup competitions, Some game time is better than nothing, and will help their development come the end of the season and even the next season. However, if you don't have a plan in place to develop them at your club, do not hesitate to loan them out. I repeat, do not hesitate to loan out your youth players so that they get games. Usually they improve their overall by 2 to 4 levels, but if you're lucky, your youth player can be really determined and improve 6+ levels. Last season on FC25, I had a player that grew 14 levels whilst out on loan. Another tip is to do short-term loans as opposed to 1 year or 2 year loans, so that you can get players back, loan them out, see their development, and shorten the overall development cycle. Next up, let's look at coaches. Look at the right hand side, you can see players that have like a graduate hat next to their profile photo. And then you can also see an ETA showing how long it will take for them to level up on their development plan. If you're a huge team like Arsenal, you have 13 positions that you can fill in the coaching section. And what you want to do is focus on the stars. Don't worry too much about the tactical vision and getting bronze, silver or gold hair, because that's more to influence your overall. But the stars is what will influence development plan timelines. So the closer you can get to the ideal level of stars for each department, the more efficient your coaches will be when it comes to training. Now look at those ETAs, how they've developed. And as you can see, for a youth player like Ryan, his initial time to upgrade was 10 weeks, now it's gone down to 6 weeks. Forrest was 7 weeks, now it's gone down to 4 weeks. And Beckett, 21 weeks, has gone down to 14. And that's pretty much the story for all of the youth players as you hire more coaches. And as you continuously increase the stars, you can see that the time to upgrade decreases. Ryan is now on 5 weeks with 17 stars, 21 stars on 4 weeks, and he caps out at 4 weeks with 25 stars. Another bonus tip that you could potentially do, let's say resources are really thin, but you have a high potential youth player in one particular unit, right? So let's use Moller for instance. We only have 4 stars in midfield and we have 1 coach. What you can do is move coaches into that department. Moller initially is going to take 10 weeks to level up with these 2 coaches. Let's see what happens when we move these new coaches into that region and see what happens to the 10 weeks for Moller to upgrade to the next level. Now it's down to 6 weeks. So, you know, have a play around, find the right balance for you, and in no time you'll have your youth players developing at a fast rate. Wow, we have covered a lot in this episode. I hope you guys have been taking notes, and just before I leave you guys, I have one final tip to give you. Seeing as we've been simulating months ahead, our youth scouts have still been doing their job. Isaac Rowland has 3 stars experience and 4 star on judgment. And with the 5-star scout, as you can see, there are 90 players dotted all around here, and mid-80s. Just more of them are present in the scouting reports. Finally, in the 3-star experience, 3-star judgment scout, you know, there are a few worldies in here, potential worldies I should say, but for the most part you can see the lower quality for this scout. Football is a squad game after all, so the more players that you have on your books, the better for you, so you can rotate and give your best players a rest, as well as be prepared for any injuries which may come. So my final bonus tip is around these players who are 17 years of age. We're now in January, so I'm going to bring a couple of them up so we can loan them out in this January transfer window.
A few moments later.
So a player like Arthur Kyle, who's 17, at the end of the season, because we never loaned him out in January, he is now looking to cancel his contract. Let's just say that is a player with high potential that we wanted to keep on. We'll be forced to bring him to the senior team, and because he hasn't played all year long, we run the risk that his potential will be downgraded moving into the next season. Whereas Patrick Bell, who was also 17 years of age, we managed to loan him out to Derby and he grew 3 overall levels in the short-term loan that he had. So that last point is more or less around just being mindful about the ages of your youth academy players. So we are now at the end of the season. Arsenal won it. Hopefully that is the result that happens in real life. And just to show you our youth academy players that we loaned out, you can see that they all grew by 3 to 4 points. Even Ranieri as well grew by 3 points who we loaned out. And as for the players in the academy, the ones that we put on the training plan grew by 3 or 4 points. And then the ones on balance only grew by 1 point throughout the season. Finally, just have fun with it. Take chances, create a development path to greatness for your youngsters, and see what story they can carve out. If you made it this far, you're a real one, honestly. And you also found the video helpful, a like would be great, but please share with one other person to help me to continue to grow. There's also a new feature on YouTube called Hype, so if you can hype me up, that will also go some way to helping me reach more people and grow as a content creator. And if you want to keep up to date with my upcoming career modes, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments any other tips, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.